Do you think the world is at your command? That your life is a game where you choose the rules? But what if you must pass through fire to truly understand your real strength? What if everything you thought you knew about yourself is nothing but an illusion, created to keep you in chains? This video is based on the philosophy of Nietzsche and will be intriguing and valuable to those who dare challenge themselves, to those who seek to dive deep into the mind and spirit to discover their own truth. Not for the faint-hearted. Well then, let's begin. The world does not owe you a damn thing. The sooner you understand this, the sooner you will grasp the iron law of existence. Only those who stand on their own 2 feet will ever move forward. The weak wail at the injustice of life, waiting for some unseen force to rescue them. But salvation never comes. The heavens remain silent. The universe is indifferent. And the sooner you accept this, the sooner you will be free. Self-pity is a slow-acting venom, a comfortable poison. It whispers in your ear, stay where you are, wallow a little longer, someone will come to save you. But no one is coming. Not the gods, not fate, not society, not your family. You are alone in the arena of life, and the only force that can drag you out of the mud is the one within you. Self-pity is the voice of decay, the creeping paralysis that chains men to their lowest selves. It turns lions into lambs, warriors into beggars. Those who surrender to it will watch life pass them by, powerless, envious of those who had the will to rise. The world does not stop for your suffering. It moves, uncaring, relentless, grinding the weak beneath its wheels. While you sit in the dark lamenting your fate, another man sharpens his mind, hardens his will, trains his body, and prepares to take what is his. The strong do not weep, they act. They do not expect fairness. They impose their own terms upon reality. You are not born to be a slave to your own weakness. You are not born to kneel before the weight of your past. Stand up. Tear off the mask of the victim and become what you are meant to be, the master of your own existence. But do not misunderstand. This is not a call for comfort, it is a call for battle. This is war, against yourself, against the weakness that festers inside you, against the part of you that begs for mercy. Mercy is a lie. The world does not reward the meek, it respects only the unbreakable. Spit out the poison. Burn away the disease of self-pity. Stop waiting for salvation. You are the storm. You are the fire. And fire does not beg, it consumes. Be the will, not the consequence. There are only 2 kinds of people in this world, those who command and those who obey. Those who shape the world and those who are shaped by it. The strong and the weak. The will and the consequence. And the moment you hesitate, the moment you let life push you instead of pushing back, you have already chosen. You have chosen to be a slave, a mere reaction to forces greater than yourself. Look around you. The vast machinery of existence does not care whether you thrive or perish. It moves forward with or without you. If you are not the hand turning the wheel, then you are nothing more than the dust beneath it. Most people spend their lives as drifting leaves, carried by the winds of circumstance, blaming fate, fortune, and the cruelty of the world for their failures. But fate is only an excuse for those too afraid to carve their own path. There is a higher law, a brutal but honest one. Either you impose your will on life, or life imposes its will on you. The world does not ask whether you are ready. It takes what it wants, and it leaves the weak behind. You can either wrestle with it, shape it, force it to obey your vision, or you can watch from the sidelines as stronger men write history in their own image. No God will reach down to crown you. No savior will come to pull you from mediocrity. No great destiny will fall into your lap. If you are waiting for a sign, if you are waiting for permission to rise, then you have already lost. The will to power does not ask for permission. It does not wait. It takes. It bends reality. It forces the chaos of existence into form. Everything that matters, every empire, every revolution, every great work of art, every immortal name, was created by those who seized life by the throat and forced it to yield. They did not accept the world as it was. They remade it. They were not echoes, they were voices. They were not consequences, they were causes. Stand up. Stop drifting. Stop waiting. If you do not claim your place in the world, someone else will take it, and you will be forgotten. Be the will, not the consequence. Be the fire, not the ash. Burn brightly, or be buried beneath those who do. Forge your body. Strike first, before weakness strikes you. A weak body is a weak will. A weak will is a broken life. Do not deceive yourself. Your mind is not separate from your flesh. Your thoughts, your discipline, your very essence are bound to the strength of your limbs, the endurance of your lungs, the fire in your muscles. If your body is frail, so is your resolve. If you cannot command your own flesh, how will you ever command your fate? Pain is the first and final test. Those who recoil from it will always be slaves, slaves to their own cowardice, to their own excuses, to the comfort that poisons them like slow rot. But those who face pain, embrace it, bend it to their will, those men become something else entirely. They rise above the herd. They become iron, sharpened by suffering. Your body is your battlefield, and the war never ends. Every moment of stillness is a victory for weakness. Every day without struggle is a day surrendered to decay. The man who does not sweat, who does not push his flesh beyond its limits, is already halfway in the grave. Nature does not pity the slow. It does not cradle the idle. It does not weep for those who collapse under their own frailty. It only respects the strong. Strike first. Do not wait for your body to betray you. Tear it apart before time does. Break it down, rebuild it stronger, make it serve you, bend it to your command. Run until your lungs burn, lift until your arms fail, endure until you forget what it means to stop. There is no glory in softness, no triumph in comfort, no greatness in ease. Those who choose the path of strength will suffer, yes, but it is a suffering that forges, not a suffering that destroys. The weak will never know this power, because they fear it. But you must not fear. You must hunger for it. You have one body, one life. You will either make it a fortress, or you will watch it crumble. Decide now, because the world will not wait. Embrace solitude, for the crowd drowns all greatness. There is a reason the greatest minds did not emerge from the noise of the crowd, but from the silence of solitude. The herd does not think, it echoes. It does not create, it repeats. It does not seek truth, it seeks comfort in numbers. But you, if you desire to rise above, to see further, to understand deeper, you must first endure the vast, merciless silence of being alone. Do not fear it. Do not shrink from it. The weak flee from solitude because they are terrified of what they might find within themselves. They seek distraction, validation, constant noise to numb the unbearable awareness of their own insignificance. They drown themselves in endless chatter, mindless entertainment, meaningless connection, anything to avoid facing the void within. But it is in that void that true power is forged. Only in silence does the mind sharpen. Only in solitude does one hear the voice that is truly his own, not the echo of others. The great revelations, the unshakable convictions, the daring visions, they do not emerge from the marketplace or the drunken feast. They rise in the stillness of the night, in the mountains where no one treads, in the quiet chambers of those who dare to stand apart. The crowd offers nothing but illusion. It welcomes you warmly, but only to consume you. It rewards obedience, but only with mediocrity. It calls you to belong, but only so you may vanish within it. There is no greatness there, only dissolution. Only those who walk alone ever leave footprints deep enough to be remembered. Dare to step away. Dare to be silent. Dare to listen, not to the world, not to others, but to the raw, unfiltered force of your own mind. The path is harsh, but it is the only one that leads to anything real. And in the end, when you emerge stronger, wiser, untouchable, the crowd will look upon you with awe, never understanding how you became what they never could. Forge your own morality. Tear down the false idols. You were born into a world that did not ask what you wanted. Before you could speak, before you could think, before you could even resist, you were shackled, given rules, given commandments, given a morality that was not your own, told what is good, what is evil, what is worthy, what is shameful. And you obeyed, because all children obey. But now, the time for obedience is over. Who decided what is right for you? Who dared to carve laws into your mind before you could choose for yourself? The voices of the past, the priests, the rulers, the trembling masses who feared the consequences of true freedom. They have fed you their morality like a slow poison, training you not to question, not to doubt, not to demand something greater. They have taught you guilt before you could sin, weakness before you could rise, fear before you could live. You must burn it all to the ground. Every belief, every law, every so-called truth, hold it to the fire and see if it survives. What was given to you is not necessarily yours. What you have followed without thought is not necessarily right. Tear it apart. Examine it. Demand proof. If it collapses under your scrutiny, then it was never worthy of you to begin with. The world loves those who obey. It hates those who ask, why? But do not seek the comfort of their approval. Seek only what is true, what is powerful, what is yours. Morality should not be a chain around your neck, forcing you to kneel. It should be a sword in your hand, forged by your own will, answering only to you. But be warned, this path is not for the timid. To build your own morality, you must first endure the terror of walking alone. You will no longer have the luxury of inherited beliefs, the safety of borrowed virtues. You will have only yourself. But in this, there is a power that the obedient will never know, the power of true sovereignty over your own existence. Break free. Overthrow the false gods that rule your mind. Become your own law. Let your morality be the product of your highest self, not the shadow of 1,000 dead voices. And when you stand unshaken, knowing that what you follow is yours, then, and only then, will you truly be free. Crush your weakness before it crushes you. Weakness is not a wound that heals. It is not a burden that time will lift. It is a parasite that feeds on you, a shadow that waits for you to falter. If you ignore it, if you pity it, if you tell yourself that one day it will simply vanish, you are already lost. Weakness does not disappear. It grows, it festers, it consumes. And if you do not destroy it, it will destroy you. You have seen what happens to those who allow their weaknesses to rule them. They decay. They shrink into themselves. They become prisoners of their own cowardice, making excuses for every failure, blaming the world, fate, circumstances, anything but their own unwillingness to fight. They tell themselves they have time. They tell themselves they will change. But change never comes to those who wait. It comes only to those who take up the knife and cut away what is rotten. Do not bargain with your weakness. Do not negotiate with it. It is your enemy. It is the chain around your neck, the weight around your ankles, the force that keeps you from rising. Show it no mercy. Hunt it down in the deepest corners of your mind and strike before it has the chance to strike you. You know where your weakness hides. It lurks in your hesitation, in your doubt, in the part of you that craves comfort over conquest. It whispers in your ear when you are tired, when you are in pain, when you are afraid. Stop, it says. Rest. Surrender. But that voice is a liar. That voice is the death of every great ambition. That voice must be silenced. Do not ask yourself whether you can destroy your weakness. You must. There is no alternative. Every moment you tolerate its presence, it grows stronger, and you grow smaller. Every time you yield to it, it learns that you are afraid, and it will use that fear against you again and again, until there is nothing left of you but regret. You were not born to be ruled by your frailties. You are not meant to kneel before your own lesser self. Stand up. Cut deep. Become something greater than you were yesterday. And do it now, because if you do not, your weakness will tighten its grip, and one day you will wake up and realize you have become everything you once feared. Take the risk. Fear of failure makes you a coward before the fight even begins. There is a monster that lurks within the soul of every man, a monster that thrives on your hesitation, your doubt, your reluctance to act. It is the fear of failure. It feeds on your weakness, and if you allow it to take root, it will rob you of everything before you even lift a finger to fight. The greatest tragedy is not failure itself, but the cowardice that stops you from ever stepping into the arena at all. The fear of failing is the true defeat. It is the moment you surrender your power before the battle begins, the moment you decide you are not worthy of victory, the moment you choose to remain a spectator in your own life. How many dreams have been abandoned because the possibility of failure seemed too much to bear? How many men, filled with potential, have lived and died without ever daring to take the leap, because the fear of falling seemed like a fate worse than never jumping at all? They look at the mountain and retreat to the safety of the valley, telling themselves that to climb is too dangerous, too uncertain, too painful. But in doing so, they never see the view from the summit. They never experience the glory of conquering the impossible. They never become anything greater than they were yesterday. The fear of failure is the greatest form of self-betrayal. It is the voice that says, "You are not enough. You cannot handle the risk. You are weak, and you will fail." But that voice is nothing more than a lie. Every great man who ever lived, every warrior, every thinker, every creator, faced failure. They did not shy away from it. They did not fear it. They embraced it as the crucible through which they would be forged into something stronger. They understood that risk is not the enemy, inaction is. Do not wait for the perfect moment, for the perfect conditions, for the perfect plan. There is no such thing. The perfect moment is an illusion, a trap designed to keep you passive, to keep you small. The only perfect moment is now. You must act now. The fear you feel is a natural part of the process. It is not a sign to stop, but a sign that you are on the verge of greatness. Step forward and let that fear fuel you, not paralyze you. If you do not risk, you will never know the depths of your own power. If you do not step into the unknown, you will never experience the triumph of the impossible. Fear is a ghost that only exists in your mind. Once you confront it, it fades into nothingness. But if you allow it to control you, it will consume you. The greatest victory is not in avoiding failure. It is in embracing it, in walking boldly into the fire, knowing that it will either burn you or transform you. And in that transformation, you will find the strength you never knew you had. Take the risk. Do not let fear decide for you. Because if you do, you will be a coward for the rest of your life. And no one remembers the cowards. Destroy your old self. Fear, doubts, habits, these are chains. Tear them apart. The man you are today is not the man you were meant to be. Every inch of your soul that clings to fear, every whisper of doubt that holds you back, every old habit that keeps you tied to the past, these are chains. Chains that bind you to mediocrity. Chains that drag you into the abyss of self-suffocation. Your comfort is your prison. Your hesitation is your executioner. You live not as the master of your fate, but as a slave to the parts of you that should be left behind. Why do you stay shackled to the self you have outgrown? What is it that keeps you from rising, from being who you truly could be? Is it the fear of the unknown? The terror of stepping into the void where certainty ceases to exist? Or is it the suffocating comfort of the familiar, the false security that promises safety but only delivers stagnation? You are born to break free. You were not made to crawl along the ground, to be weighed down by the past, by mistakes, by weakness. The man who fears change is already dead. He is a ghost, haunting his own existence. His life is one of endless repetition, of self-imposed imprisonment. But you have a choice. You can break free. You can burn away the dead skin of your former self and emerge from the ashes like a phoenix, reborn, unburdened, unstoppable. To break the chains that hold you is no simple task. It requires ruthlessness. It requires violence against the self you once thought was safe. You must be willing to tear down the walls you've built, even if they feel familiar, even if they feel comfortable. You must destroy the fears that have kept you paralyzed, the doubts that have told you you cannot. You are not enough. You will fail. These are not truths. These are lies you have allowed to take root in your soul. You must exorcise them. Rip them from your mind. There is no room for weakness in the path to greatness. Habits that once served you have become your chains. They may have been comfortable, but they are now your tomb. The life you lead today, the fears you endure, the doubts you nurse, they are all the remnants of a past version of yourself that you must leave behind. They no longer belong to you. They must die. They must be destroyed. Only then will you have the power to step into the life you were always meant to live. To destroy your old self is to awaken the force inside you that has been dormant. To let go of the crutches you have leaned on for comfort is to discover a strength you never knew existed. You will stand taller, move faster, think clearer, and above all, You will live more fully than you ever could as a prisoner to the past. Do not mourn the loss of your old self. The self you were yesterday was never your true self. It was only a shadow of what you could be. Let it die. Let it burn. You are not bound to your past. You are free to create your future. And it begins now. The moment you tear down the chains that have held you for so long, you'll step into a new world. One where you control your destiny, where fear is no longer an enemy, and where you become the person you were always meant to be. Set goals that scare you. If your goal does not terrify you, it is worthless. You are a creature of comfort. You seek peace, stability, and security. Yet in these desires, you doom yourself to a life of insignificance. You are content to drift along, to make small plans, to set small goals that are easily attainable, easily forgotten. But I say to you, this is the death of your potential. You are born to conquer, to climb the highest mountains, to face what others fear and turn it into your power. If the goals you set do not make your heart race with terror, if they do not challenge you to the core of your being, then you are not alive. You are only existing, and existence is not enough. The true goal is not something comfortable that you can casually stroll towards. No, the true goal is the one that makes you question yourself, that fills you with a deep, primal fear. It should haunt you, torment you, push you to the very limits of your courage. Only then will you grow. Only then will you step into the realm of greatness. For when you set a goal that makes you tremble, you step into the arena where the truly extraordinary live. Anything less is beneath you. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is the catalyst that forces you to grow. It is the voice inside that says, you are not enough, yet challenges you to prove otherwise. It is the fire that tests the metal of your soul. When you set a goal that frightens you, you embrace this fire. You invite the crucible of transformation. And in that fire, you will be remade, stronger, sharper, more powerful than you ever believed possible. Ask yourself this: why do you fear the things you do? Why do you shrink back from the very goals that could propel you to greatness? It is because you have forgotten your true nature. You are not born to cower. You are not born to play it safe. You are born to risk everything, to stand at the edge of the abyss, peer into the void, and then leap. If your goal does not make you question your worth, then it is too small. If it does not ignite the fires of doubt in your mind and drive you to confront your deepest fears, then it is not worth pursuing. Aim higher. Reach further. Set goals that make the world tremble. Only when you face the very thing that terrifies you will you understand what it means to live, not merely to exist. This is the essence of greatness: to pursue what others fear, to conquer what seems impossible, to crush the limitations imposed upon you by society, by your upbringing, and most of all by your own mind. So I challenge you, what are your goals? Do they scare you? Are they worth your time, your effort, your sweat, your tears? Or are they just empty ambitions that lead to nowhere? The choice is yours, but remember, greatness is born from fear. Without it, you are nothing more than a shadow, passing through the world unnoticed. But with it, you become a force of nature, something unyielding, something unforgettable. Stop your sympathy for others. Sometimes the best way to help is to strike, not console. We live in a world of weakness. A world where compassion is worshipped, where sympathy is offered like a sacred balm, and where the greatest act of kindness is often seen in the form of pity. But let me tell you this: sympathy is a poison. It feeds the fragile, the weak, the ones who refuse to face the reality of their own suffering. It tells them that their pain is special, that their struggle deserves to be coddled, soothed, protected. But in doing so, it chains them to their misery. It comforts them in their weakness, whispers to them that their inferiority is somehow acceptable, that they should embrace their helplessness. This is not true kindness. This is a lie that keeps them enslaved to their own feeble existence. And you should not fall prey to this illusion. You must stop offering empty words of comfort to those who will never rise until they feel the sting of their own inadequacy. The truth is harsh, but it is the only way to break the chains of weakness. The best way to help others is to show them their own limitations. It is not in comforting them, not in holding their hand and telling them everything will be all right. It is in shaking them out of their delusion and forcing them to see the reality of their situation. We are too afraid to confront the truth of what it takes to help someone. We are afraid that our words or actions might hurt them. But if you truly wish to see someone grow, to see them transcend their suffering, then you must be willing to give them more than the false comfort of sympathy. Sometimes, the most compassionate act is the one that cuts deep, that forces them to confront their weaknesses, that demands they rise above their own despair. Think about it. How often do we excuse others from facing their own challenges because we fear their pain? How often do we let people wallow in self-pity because we are too weak to confront the brutal truth? By offering only comfort, we rob them of the one thing that could free them, their own strength. A true warrior does not weep for his comrades when they fall. He does not console them with false promises. He challenges them. He holds up the mirror and shows them their flaws, their weaknesses, their imperfections. He dares them to face the truth of their own existence. Only when they see the raw, unflinching truth will they have the opportunity to change. And in that change, in that painful awakening, they may rise to become something greater. Sympathy, when offered without purpose, without challenge, is a form of enslavement. It locks people into their pain, into their weakness, into the lie that they cannot overcome it. But the true act of love, the true act of compassion, is not to protect someone from their own suffering, but to make them stronger through it. To tear away the illusions they cling to shake them awake, and to show them that the only way out of their suffering is to face it head-on. This is the way of the warrior. This is the way of strength. Stop wasting your energy on pity. Instead, give them the gift of awakening. It will hurt, yes, but it is in that pain that true transformation occurs. Learn to lose without complaints. True strength lies in rising after a fall, not in avoiding it. There is an illusion we all cling to, the illusion of invincibility. We are taught from the moment we are born to protect ourselves from failure, to guard against falling, to shield ourselves from the sting of defeat. We become obsessed with winning, with success, with the idea that if we are just good enough, just strong enough, we can avoid the crushing weight of failure. But let me tell you the truth. Failure is inevitable. It is not something to be feared or avoided. It is something to be embraced. Only in the pit of defeat do we truly discover who we are, and only in our ability to rise after we fall can we begin to forge the strength that will carry us forward. There is no strength in perfection. There is no growth in the absence of struggle. True strength is not found in your victories, but in your defeats. It is in how you respond to the fall. The question is not whether you will stumble, it is how you will rise when you do. Will you complain? Will you wallow in self-pity, blaming the world for your misfortune? Will you allow the pain of your defeat to define you? Or will you rise? Will you stand tall, even when every bone in your body aches with the weight of the world upon you? We live in a culture that values success above all else, that praises those who never falter and condemns those who fall. But this is a lie. It is the fall that teaches us the most, that shapes us into something greater than we were before. The victory is sweet, yes, but it is fleeting. It is the fall that reveals your true character. Will you break under its weight? Or will you rise from it stronger than you ever were? True strength lies not in avoiding defeat, but in learning how to lose without complaint. To lose is to learn, to be humbled, to face the harsh reality of your limitations. And it is in this humility that your power lies. When you lose, you are forced to confront your weaknesses, your mistakes, your flaws. You are forced to strip away the illusions of invulnerability and see yourself for who you truly are. But here is the crucial part. The moment you accept that failure is a part of the process, you are no longer a victim of it. You become its master. You take the lessons that defeat offers and use them to fuel your next attempt, to fuel your next rise. Do not fear the fall. Do not resent it. Embrace it. It is the crucible in which your character is forged. In defeat, you find the fire that will burn away your weaknesses. You find the resolve to push forward, to try again, to rise higher than you were before. The true measure of a man is not found in how many times he succeeds, but in how many times he is willing to rise after he falls. The path of strength is not for the faint of heart. It is not for those who shy away from failure or who hide from their mistakes. The path of strength is for those who can face defeat without complaint, who can endure the pain, and who can rise again, no matter how many times they fall. The world does not care about your failures. It does not care about your complaints. The world only cares about how you rise, how you move forward, and how you use the pain of defeat to fuel your unrelenting drive to succeed. So when you fall, and you will fall, do not curse your fate. Do not beg for sympathy. Stand up, dust yourself off, and walk forward with the knowledge that your true power lies not in avoiding the fall, but in your ability to rise every single time. Turn pain into fuel. Angry? Hurt? Go to the gym. Work on yourself. Pain is a gift. It is the spark that can ignite a fire of transformation. The world teaches us to avoid pain, to run from it, to drown it out with distractions. But this is the path of weakness. This is the path that leads to stagnation and decay. You must stop running from your pain and start using it. The anger, the hurt, the frustration, they are not weaknesses. They are weapons waiting to be wielded. When life strikes you down, when you feel the sting of betrayal or the burn of failure, what will you do with that pain? Will you retreat into your shell, nursing your wounds and bemoaning your fate? Or will you take that anger, that pain, and turn it into something greater? There is only one way to truly rise above it all. Transform the agony into fuel. When you are angry, when you feel betrayed or hurt, most people retreat. They drown in their emotions, letting the hurt define them. But this is the act of a coward. A warrior turns pain into power. The next time you feel the raw intensity of anger burning through you, take it to the gym. Take it to the iron. Feel the burn of the weights, the grind of effort, and channel all that negative energy into something productive, something that builds rather than destroys. What you are feeling is energy, a raw, untamed force. Most people waste that energy in bitterness, self-pity, or lashing out in futile rage. But you must harness it. When you feel the fury coursing through your veins, use it to build your body, your mind, your spirit. Go to the gym, put in the work, and watch how your pain slowly transforms you into something unbreakable, something stronger than you were before. This is not just physical strength. This is the strength of the will, the strength of the soul. When you turn your pain into fuel, you stop being a victim of the world. You take control of your life, and you mold yourself into something more powerful with every rep, with every drop of sweat, with every moment of discomfort. Pain becomes the forge in which your greatness is shaped. Think about this. Every time you choose to transform your anger, your hurt, your sorrow into action, you are claiming mastery over your own emotions. You stop letting them control you. You stop being a slave to how you feel, and you become the master of your own fate. Every weight you lift, every mile you run, is not just a step toward a better body. It is a declaration that you will not be defeated by life. Embrace the pain. Let it sharpen you, let it harden you. Every frustration, every insult, every hardship is an opportunity to grow. It is an opportunity to become more than you were yesterday. Pain is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally. And the gym? That is your battlefield, your arena where you fight to turn weakness into strength, pain into power, and anger into unstoppable force. So next time you feel the sting, the hurt, or the rage, remember, this is not a moment of defeat. This is your chance to rise. Take that energy and transform it into the most powerful version of yourself. The world doesn't care if you are hurt or angry. It only cares about what you do with it. And if you choose to build, to grow, to become unbreakable, you will show the world what true strength is. Do not dwell on the small things. Great people live by great ideas. You are not here to waste your time on the trivial, the mundane, the meaningless. You are not here to get lost in the minutiae of daily existence, to be consumed by the petty concerns that bind most people to their mediocrity. You are here to conquer. You are here to live with purpose, with vision, with grandeur. Greatness is born in the mind of those who dare to dream beyond the limits of the ordinary. The world is full of distractions, noise, distractions, endless trivialities that demand your attention, pull you in every direction. People will tell you that you must focus on the small things, that success is built on countless insignificant actions. But these are the lies of the weak, the uninspired. Greatness is not achieved by getting lost in the small details. It is forged by focusing on the big picture, on the bold, audacious ideas that shake the very foundations of existence. Look at the greatest minds in history. Look at those who left their mark on the world, who reshaped the very course of human destiny. Were they concerned with the little things? Did they spend their lives obsessing over the trivialities of their daily existence? No, they lived for something greater. They lived for ideas that transcended time, that defied the limitations of their age. They saw the world not as it was, but as it could be. And they had the courage, the vision, and the will to make it so. You too have the power to think in these grand terms. You too can break free from the chains of petty concerns and embrace the vast horizon of possibility. But it starts with a shift in your thinking. Stop wasting your energy on the insignificant, the fleeting. Stop drowning in the noise of everyday life. Focus on the big ideas, the ideas that can shake the world, that can elevate you from the mediocrity that traps most people. It's not enough to simply exist. It's not enough to just live day by day, going through the motions, consumed by the small details that have no bearing on your destiny. Greatness requires vision. It requires the courage to live for something greater than yourself, to pour your heart and soul into the pursuit of an idea that is bigger than your circumstances. You may not see it now, but the small things, the endless distractions, the trivial concerns, they are the chains that keep you bound to the ordinary. Greatness requires you to break free, to elevate your mind above the noise, and to dedicate yourself to the pursuit of something monumental. When you live by great ideas, when you devote yourself to the grand, the bold, the revolutionary, you unlock a power within you that most can never fathom. It is not in the small victories that your legacy will be forged, but in the big, daring ideas that challenge the very fabric of reality. So, cast aside the distractions. Do not allow yourself to be consumed by the trivial. Live for something greater. Live for the idea that will make history. Be cruel to yourself. No one will make you strong except your own discipline. Strength is not a gift. It is not handed to you on a silver platter. You will not find it in others, nor will it come from external forces. It is forged through pain, sweat, and relentless discipline, the kind of discipline that leaves no room for excuses. The world does not care about your comfort. It will not stop to ease your suffering. And it should not. Because if it does, you will never know what true power feels like. Look around you. Do you see the masses, the weak, the undisciplined? They go through life seeking comfort, seeking pleasure, seeking validation. They live as if the world owes them something. And what do they get in return? Mediocrity, weakness. They will never know the power that comes from controlling oneself, from mastering the inner chaos that lives within. The truly strong are not those who are given power, but those who have earned it, through an unrelenting, brutal self-discipline that pushes them beyond their limits. If you want to be strong, if you want to stand above the masses, you must be cruel to yourself. You must demand more from yourself than anyone else ever could. The mind will give in, the body will scream, but you must push through it. When you feel the urge to quit, to give up, you must not listen. You must crush those desires with the force of your will. This is the only way to grow. This is the only way to ascend to a higher plane of existence. You must learn to embrace the discomfort, the struggle. It is in those moments of intense hardship that you are reshaping yourself. Every drop of sweat, every ounce of pain, every ounce of effort is like a chisel carving away the weak parts of your soul. What remains is power, focus, and strength. Think about this. True discipline is not a momentary act of will, it is a way of life. You must build it, brick by brick, through daily sacrifice. It is a commitment that you make to yourself, to your future. And when you hold yourself accountable, when you push yourself further than anyone expects, you'll discover a power so intense, so pure, that nothing in the world will be able to break you. So, stop seeking comfort. Stop waiting for someone to come and give you strength. The strength you seek is already inside you, and the only way to release it is through unyielding discipline, a cruelty that forces you to confront the weakness within. Anything less than this is to live in mediocrity, to live a life of compromise. Do not compromise. Be cruel to yourself, and in return, you will become unstoppable. Create something great. A book, a painting, a business, something that will outlast you. What is the purpose of your life? What is it that you are truly creating here, in this brief moment of existence? Is it another day spent in the mundane, a day that slips into the forgotten abyss of time? Or will you rise above the ordinary and leave behind something that defies the inevitable decay of time? Something that transcends your fleeting existence? In this world of noise and distractions, most people live and die without ever leaving a mark. They exist as mere shadows, drifting through the tides of time, consumed by the moment, and then forgotten. But you are not most people. You are not destined to fade away into the nothingness. You are meant to create. To build something that will stand long after your body has crumbled to dust. To give birth to an idea so powerful, so profound, that it will echo across time. Whether it is a book, a painting, a business, or any other form of creation, you must create something that speaks not only to the present, but to the future. Something that will be looked upon long after you are gone and be recognized for the greatness it represents. This is your legacy. When you create, you transcend the limitations of the here and now. You reach into eternity, and through your creation, you stake your claim on the future. Your name may be forgotten, but the ideas you give life to will endure, will continue to inspire, provoke, and challenge those who come after you. What you create can be your voice when you no longer have one. It can be your strength when your body is too frail to carry it. But this requires more than mere effort. It requires an obsession, a burning desire to create something that matters, something that disrupts the complacency of this world. It demands that you pour your very soul into it, that you embrace the struggle and sacrifice it will take to make something truly great. No one will make you do it. No one will push you, cajole you, or beg you to create. That is your task, and yours alone. You must reach deep within yourself and bring forth something that is worthy of the greatness you seek. And when the world tries to silence you, when the pressure of life threatens to crush your will, you must press forward. Because this is the only way to achieve immortality. Through creation. Do not settle for the mundane. Do not waste your life chasing after empty pleasures. Instead, dedicate yourself to the pursuit of greatness. Create something that will stand as a testament to your will, your vision, your drive. And when you are gone, your creation will remain, a permanent reminder that you were here, that you lived, that you shaped the world. Become your own God. You don't need a hero. You need yourself, but stronger. There was a time long ago when humanity worshipped gods in the heavens. They cast their hopes upon divine figures, seeking salvation in the hands of those far removed from their mortal struggle. They clung to the belief that somewhere out there existed a force capable of lifting them from their misery, guiding them, saving them from their weakness. But what if this belief was the very thing that shackled them? What if the hero you seek, the savior you beg for, is already within you, waiting for you to uncover it? What if you could become the God you have longed for? For far too long, people have looked outward, searching for heroes in the form of others, yearning for someone to lead them out of the darkness. They seek strength in the wrong places, outside of themselves, when all the while they carry the seed of that power within. You do not need a hero. You do not need a savior to deliver you. You need yourself, but a version of yourself that is strong enough to conquer all limitations, to rise above all weaknesses, to destroy the very fears that bind you. Becoming your own God is not a path of ease. It is not a calling for the faint of heart. It is a challenge that demands every ounce of your willpower, every drop of sweat, every shred of your soul. To become your own God, you must slay the feeble, the hesitant parts of yourself. The parts that hold you back, the parts that cower in fear, the parts that seek comfort and security. You must transform your mind into an unbreakable fortress. You must sever the chains of your dependency on others, and craft within yourself a power that needs no external validation. The gods that once seemed so far beyond you, those who held dominion over the heavens, are merely myths. What is a god, after all, but the ultimate embodiment of strength, power, and self-mastery? Now, imagine that you too could embody that power, that you could command your own fate, shape your own destiny, rise to heights that no one could ever force upon you, but that you could reach of your own volition. This is what it means to become your own God. It is to reject the helplessness of waiting for someone else to guide you, to reject the notion that your salvation lies outside of you. You are the creator of your own path, the master of your own being. But with this power comes responsibility. To become your own God is to understand that you are the architect of your own greatness and your own ruin. Every choice, every action, Every thought you entertain must be held to the highest standard. Because once you realize the immense power that resides within you, there is no excuse for weakness, no room for the comfort of mediocrity. You must be relentless in your pursuit of greatness, unyielding in your discipline, unwavering in your focus. The world is full of those who wait for heroes, who beg for miracles, who cry out for salvation. But you will not wait. You will become that force of nature. You will carve your own path, as strong as any god, as unshakable as the mountains. And you will find, in the deepest recesses of your soul, the strength that has always been yours, waiting to be unleashed. In this journey, you've seen the power that lies within you, the strength you can cultivate, and the greatness you are capable of achieving. The world won't hand you anything, and no hero will come to save you, but that's the beauty of it. You are your own force. Now the question is, will you rise to meet your true potential, or will you remain in the shadows of your own hesitation? The path is hard, the road is long, but it is yours to walk, and the greatness that awaits is yours to claim. Become your own legend. Now go forth and shape the world with your will.